Hello, guys, and welcome 3:03 Magic Time, Eastern Time in the United States. And we here with Lynn soon to discuss about our future, what we're gonna do, what Republicans gonna do in our political life, and what's going on in our world, and Aventura, and in Sunny Isles, and pretty much everywhere, because we have the similar situation with the election. We have a similar situation in our family, our lives. Let's discuss about it. This is a live. You can ask your questions or using our chat, and you can also have a magic link. You can go enjoy to our show, and you can ask the question personally. I think me and Lynn is gonna be happy to answer for that. Hi, Lynn. How are you today? Happy to see you.
Happy to see you too.
You share your secret. You always, when I see you, you're full of the energy. You're full of the optimistics. You're good looking. What is your secret?
Oh, you're so sweet.
Seriously, you're like an
Yeah.
energizer. I know you have a lot of job during your election time. You visited a lot of tons of the people, the thousand of the people every day, and you're still full of energy. You're like a vampire, you know. You are like a soak up the energy of the people. Oh, what is going on? Tell me.
Well, I mean, it's optimistic. I think that because of all the things that are happening, right? I think a lot of people are waking up. They're seeing what's going on. They're seeing what's happening, and like all the, like when we had the lockdown, it was sad, but the parents discovered what their kids were learning, right? So all of this is actually, I mean, I can't look forward any more to the midterms than now. Like, I mean, with all the craziness going on, like, because we know that we're going to come back. We're going to come back and come back hard. So, that's always exciting for me.
This is tough time, especially inflation, gasoline price, and also problem with the businesses. What's going on in the businesses, the local businesses in Aventura and the Sunny Isles? What can you share with us? How the situation is? Because the prices is everything is going up. Delivery, change supply is going up. How it's affected to the local businessmen in Aventura and Sunny Isles?
Yeah, the cost of food. Most businesses in our area, I can't say, but I mean, most of them that I've seen, they're mostly food
The
services,
small
right?
cafe and
Yeah,
small
small
stores.
cafes, restaurants. I mean, their food cost has gone up like 10 times, right? I spoke to several sushi vendors.
Eight
They
eight
said,
8.6%.
yeah,
Official.
it looks like 8.6 times.
That's not
I mean,
percentage. Yeah.
no, it's not a percent. I mean, like when people
Here's
are
the
hit,
secret. Here's the secret. It's not
uh,
percentage.
no, when they actually say 8.6, it's not percent. It's actually 8.6 times as much. So,
Oh
I
God.
mean, I've talked to people who, sushi vendors that used to buy their tuna, right, for $5 a pound, for example,
Mhm.
wholesale. Now they're paying like, 20, 30, 40, it depends. And you have to outbid somebody else to win the food. It's like, wow, that's crazy. So, and they're trying to keep the food prices down. I think you notice like maybe the size of our dishes have shrunk a little bit. So, I mean, that's all because they need to stay afloat. So, what can I say? I mean, a lot of people are going to tighten up their belts and go eat out less, and these restaurants are going to get hit even harder. So,
What is your
whatever you can do.
projection about the local businesses? Is they gonna be closed as in New York during the pandemic period, and the people close the businesses and go to the Florida? But now they realize even in Florida, the situation is everywhere. Not even in United States, but all across the world countries. What's gonna be next? The businesses are closed. Do you think it's gonna be closed, or what is gonna be?
I think this is I, there's so much in that one small question that you ask, because it's packed with untangling so many different things, right? We've got the government that's messing around too much in our in our system with the small business owners, with all the things that all the hoops that they have to jump through without even having to do it. Just doing their own business is a lot of work already. So with that said, like, all the crazy things that are going on, we just really have to, first of all, I think we have to support our small businesses where we can.
How?
Nobody wants them to go out of business.
What's the way how to support the local businesses? You mean just go and buy something if you would
Just
like
buy
to buy?
stuff from your usual vendors, right? If you love them, like, keep them in business. And if we all do a little bit of our share here and there, I'm pretty sure that, like, that can support them. It's only going to be, I'm saying temporary, and I'm beginning to Janet Yellen. But
Janet
no.
Leonard, she told honestly, I don't know what's going on. I mean, so much is going on in that period. Before I made these projections, but I did not so many things coming up in our life. She has a perfect answer, actually. So this is not my mistake.
We learned something. Never believe the experts, right?
Absolutely, yes, it is.
Fauci, who was the expert. We had Janet Yellen, who was the expert. And, like, what have these experts brought us to, right? They brought us to inflation. So it's absolutely insane. Like I said, I think, like, the small businesses have to enjoy this. Definitely, I will keep my promise when I get to Tallahassee. What we're going to do is we're going to look at how we can make sure that the businesses thrive. We're not going to tax them anymore, which, I mean, I think Governor DeSantis has already mentioned that. Any regulations that we have, if we can roll them back, or if we can, like, eliminate some of them, just to make regulations reasonable and safe for people to patronize them, that's all we're going to do. And, like, really let the people take care of themselves, because they know best, right? The government does not know how to run your business. You know how to run your business. So
That's
the government
right.
has to stay out. So that's what I'd say. Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned Ron DeSantis, but Ron DeSantis previously got some major news topic about. I want to talk about Elon Musk. He
Mm-hmm.
is going to be support Ron DeSantis for his presidential election, probably. Who knows? But Ron DeSantis says, "Thank you for supporting African American society." Mention what Elon Musk was born in Africa, actually.
South Africa. Yeah.
So, what is your comment about this? I think in one side it's good when Elon Musk endorse you and tell you, okay, I'm going to support you to your election and I can give you money. But the other side, Ron DeSantis saying, okay, thank you for supporting African American society. What is your actual opinion about that situation? I'm really interested.
I think it's great that someone who is a liberal, and I'm saying liberal as a distinction different from being a leftist, right? When a liberal actually endorses our governor, I think it's a good sign, because that just means that we are doing things that make sense. People who, with any ounce of common sense would see that, like, whatever Governor Ron DeSantis is offering, it's fantastic, right? You can't go wrong. He's pretty much on point on almost everything that he has, like, proposed. And I think it's excellent. I definitely support our governor. And there are people who don't. And maybe, but Elon Musk throwing his hat in the ring and saying that he does support, I'm happy to hear that. Definitely.
I ask you the different questions. What if Elon Musk offering you his support
for me?
in the local level? So, what is your answer? Is do you just be a little bit sarcastic as a Elon Musk and mention some joke, or do you just say, "Oh, I'm so happy, I'm so excited to work with you, and I thinking we are together can actually change the world"? Because I believe Elon Musk can change the world. And
No,
he
absolutely.
do it, yes, step by step. And
Mhm.
also that tandem with the Ron DeSantis and Elon Musk, it's actually is gonna be so very perspectiveful in my view. Okay, what
Yeah.
is your
What would I
opinion?
say? I
Yes,
would definitely be happy about it. Yeah, for sure. I'm not going to say, no, don't endorse me.
I don't need it. I don't need it.
Yeah, I don't need Elon
I'm
Musk.
strong enough to live without you. Strong enough.
Oh, look, it's a music show.
A music show, yes,
I
it's
love
good
it.
to have a sense of humor sometimes. So
Oh, yeah.
you mentioned the people woke up. I think you made this
Mhm.
after you visited your election people who live in Aventura and Sunny Isles. Here's the questions. Demalka Shahar, she's asking you how our community can participate in your election. This is the, just straight question.
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, it takes a village, right, to raise a child. It takes a whole district to elect a representative. So definitely, I am now knocking on doors about 4 or 5 days a week, right? The rest of the time, I also have to raise funds. So I'm making phone calls for that. At any point of these phone calls and door knocking that you can participate in, if you'd like, come out and we'll train you, we'll give you all the equipment you need, we'll give you anything that any information you need about the campaign. So you can powerfully knock on that door and share your thoughts about why you think I would be a good representative for our district. So absolutely, you can volunteer. We do so many different things. We also have if you're into strategic researching, if you are interested in law, if you want to talk about legislation, we have a strategy team for you. If you're a tech person, we also do tech stuff. We have social media teams, anything and everything I need. I definitely can use more volunteers. Like I said to you, I don't pay any of my staffers anything. They all work for free. And I am so grateful for them. So if you can spare some time, even an hour a week, or if you want to knock on doors with me a day a week, or 30 minutes or an hour, anything is welcome. So just let me know. You can go to my website and you can sign up. That is going to be the direct help, because we do have we have a primary to win. We have not about a little shy of 20,000 doors that we have to knock on.
And that's
right?
till August, end of the August, right?
Right, August 23rd. Yeah.
23rd.
So if you haven't been registered as a Republican, you have to register in a party in order to vote in the primary. So if you wanted to vote for me in the primary, you'd have to register as a Republican. And I think the deadline for registration is coming up soon. So if I'm not mistaken, it must be July 15th. So start registering. And then I think absentee ballots have already been mailed out. So if you don't want absentee ballots, remember to keep hold of them. Don't let them go in the trash and have anybody else take those absentee ballots to vote for you, right? So that's one thing. So participating in the volunteer part is great. If you know any businesses, or if you live in a condo and you know some neighbors that would love to have me in their, in the lounge of the condo and speak and share with you what my vision is for Florida, by all means, I'm also here to do that.
So Lynn, tell me how to change the situation in Florida, in the Aventura and the Sunny Isles, because it's so many things coming up, and people literally they are losing the hope what we can do actually some changes, because so many frauds around, so many politics like a rhino, so many tell us so just we go to the election, just please help and we can change, and after the election nothing's coming up. So you mentioned that people are waking up; they just started to believe. But in the real things, do you really feel that what the people woke up? Do you really think you can change something? And tell me how you can change the situation in Florida, for example, in Aventura. What's the major steps? The first steps is gonna be to change the situation, which is currently we have.
Okay. Well, as a state, the organization is really big. So any change that is going to happen isn't going to be tomorrow, right? We hear a lot about many legislations that have been imposed, that have been approved, that have been signed, that have been, that is in law, as has been created as a law. But when it comes time to execution, that's where it's, we need to really hold the government accountable for what they're doing. So when I think about change, I think you'd be surprised, right? I think if today Joe Biden wasn't standing that we would never use fossil fuels anymore, and he opened up the XL pipeline, you would see gas prices go down real quick, right? Problem is, like, they're
I
just putting,
honestly cannot see the Republican can even change the situation, even they got majority in Congress and Senate after November, because it's, the very fast to destroy, but try to fix it. Yeah, it takes so
no,
many time.
it's a long path, right? He said, like, yeah,
I heard
like
the
they don't like,
perspective from analysts. It takes for now. It's supposed to be a years to fix it. A years to fix it.
yeah,
It's
but what I mean is this. The problem is, like, to fix it, because they had put in so many different layers of, like, regulations, right? So remember, the US wrote a letter back to Joe Biden about, what it is that they can do when they're talking about, oh, you're trying to profit off of people and you're making so much money and all this and that. Like, we want you to reduce the prices. They're like, no, why don't you reduce the regulations that are in? Like, right now, if you wanted to drill for oil, like, at least it's going to take you 3-6 months to just get approved, right? Or if not longer. I mean, there are cases in Texas that could be done in a day. So, I mean, all of this stuff that has been put in place, like, they really wanted to trip us over with these regulations, and it's just more and more law. So, now, let me be clear. I'm not just about Aventura and Sunny Isles, right? Just so your listeners can understand that the representative for this district actually goes all the way down to Fisher Island, including Miami Beach. So there's a lot of issues that are important to this area, and we really want to tackle them all. In my first year, absolutely, right? We were going to look at HOA reform, like I mentioned to you before. We're definitely going to look at schools. Schools is a big, big issue, because we have to stop the indoctrination of children. We really have to get them focused and well equipped with academics, right? Like, they need to be able to read, write, and do arithmetic, like, really good. So they also get to develop some leadership skills inside of being in a group. When you're in a social setting, it's all about you developing your discipline and your leadership. If the kids are going to school and they're not developing that, instead they're trying to feed off each other for other negative things, that's not the purpose of going to school, right? The purpose of going to school is to have that social setting for kids. But now, so like I said, like, school choice, money follows a child. Those things are very important on my agenda. I want to support whatever the legislators that are currently in Tallahassee to see this through. We get an education account, savings account for parents, so that they can have that money saved away tax-free for other educational needs for their children, right? Like school clothes, books, so on and so forth. So, or even tutoring. So with that said, that's still in the works. Also, the other thing is, like I said, our small businesses, that's very important to me. So those are going to be the first couple of things that I tackle first. There's also, I'm beginning to sound like Kamala Harris. First things I tackle first. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. Absolutely. Because for her, it's obvious. Because you, they are. Remember AMC Nicole Kidman commercial? No, it's a meme. It's a meme in the internet. So I want to ask you about the school security. You mentioned about school security. Do you think the Republicans, Ted Cruz, Guyets, which is a representative of the Florida, by the way, they suggested the law projects to for the armed security in the schools, because in the Congress politicians has armed security, but in the school that the child does not. The students go to the school, and also Major Taylor Greene, she said, when she was 16 years old, she was in the same situation in her school, massive shootings. That's only because no armed security around, and only shooter has guns and weapons, but nobody else. what do you personally think about the armed security? Some suggestions about what the teachers have to have a gun just in case. I mean, what do you think about that situation? Tell us, because Democrats, they don't really want to protect the school. They want actually law about domestic terrorism, which is can use easily for the politicians' opponents, but not for the security. We understand that.
Yeah.
So
So
tell us.
as far as that goes, I agree with Ted Cruz and a lot of the other politicians that have mentioned having armed security at schools. That is very crucial. Now, it's the thing is, I think there was a conversation about having a teacher in every hall, like a designated teacher who is trained in using guns and is, well tested and trained, basically, in every hall. Because when it happens, sometimes the armed guard is on the other side of the building, like he can't get here in time. What we're trying to do is we're trying to mitigate the death that's going to happen. The other thing that I see is very important, and it's beginning to show very clearly now that we've had so many school shootings and we've lost so many children's lives, is actually the issue on mental health. Now, mind you, these people have not been recorded or haven't, been stated that they have mental illness, and there's a whole protection around it, or whether it's, I don't know, some kind of compassion that has gone wrong. So without telling people that, like, let's say Lynn is, I'm not going to use myself. So X is actually mentally ill. Nicole Kidman is mentally ill. Oh my God.
Yeah.
She's going to have this show canceled. So Nicole Kidman is not canceled, is mentally ill, right? So she should not have a gun, and her name should go on some kind of list for a second vetting.
Oh, Miss
And
Amber.
if you want
Miss
to,
Amber.
oh yeah, there you go.
She is the next one for the culture. Cancel.
Yeah. So, when we have something in place that actually reports people and has them, before they get their guns and go buy them, like after the background check, right? Maybe there's a second check to make sure, like, let's test if this person's mentally ill since there was a report. And of course, like, there has to be due diligence. Otherwise, everybody's going to report everybody as being mentally ill, and nobody's going to be allowed to have a gun, right?
I think that's what Democrats want to do.
Mm-hmm.
To everyone
the red
not
flag
have
laws.
guns.
Right. So basically, I think that mental illness gets to be addressed. Like right now, we have a lot of issues with homelessness in South Florida. It's growing.
Not only with homelessness, but you see that even Hunter Biden, I can see the screen. The Hunter Biden released 5 guns and dead house while reporting sister-in-law via text. It's a huge scandal. But this is show us the first family in the country. Oh my God, has illegal guns in the house. And also, the father of Hunter tried to avoid legal guns for the Americans. What is going on? I don't know. Did you read that article? Do you see?
No, I didn't read that article.
Here? You should, because it's very interesting. It's very
interesting.
Me the link.
Show me the link.
FBI, yes, the FBI protected actually. So,
I think his Secret Service was protecting him, right?
It is, yes. Yeah. Hunter texted on October 23rd, for example, 2018. Hunter wrote, being owned a handgun issued by the state and was in front glove complaint on his car. So, what right do you can have hail? There is 5 guns in that house. They have more weapons in the son's room there in the armory. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that people just told us what we have to do?
But they're not doing it themselves?
Yeah.
Okay, guys, here's the thing that I was going to say earlier, but I didn't say. Very important, which is I think we got to screen out all the
Yeah,
career politicians, right? And people who want to be in this game for show because like they just want to add another thing on their, resume that they have been an elected official without any real agenda, without any real passion for you guys and for, the state. Like there's often a lot of passion for themselves. So, I mean, like this is really important. Like you have to meet the candidate. You have to, hear what they have to say and like really ask questions. Like what kind, like the questions that you guys are asking me, it's really, really great, right? Like we really get to know each other, like where I stand. So when I get to office, you know what to hold me accountable for. Hey, you know what? On this radio show, June 16th, you said this, right? Yeah, that's the kind of thing that I want to see because like, and I want people to have access to me as well because that is super important. Like right now, like even if we do keep touting out Hunter Biden, it's not going to go anywhere because he's already in office. Worst case scenario is this guy gets convicted, and then what happens? His father is going to pardon him.
so that means the law is not for the Biden family and for the people who just high level politicians. A law only for the regular average people, and that's it.
Pretty much.
Here's the different situation, and this is very very good. Explain why things like this going on. And
Mm.
it's so unfair. Do you think this is pathetic? Do you think fair is exist?
Well, I heard somebody say at one point, they said there's nothing fair, just injustice you can tolerate.
Okay,
And I'm being realistic, right? Because like when you're looking at whatever's happening now, like, I mean, Nancy Pelosi, why isn't she being questioned for like insider trading?
that's what I'm talking. That's high level politicians. There is no
Yeah,
law
it's
for
like so
them.
the only thing we get to do is just to vote them out. That's the only way, the only thing that we can do. And I mean, if you don't vote, like we can't complain about this. Like
That's
we want
because
to.
we all delegated them our
Hmm.
rights. This is the answer. There
Hmm.
is no just somebody can change the situation. We only can change the situation if we go and we vote for the politicians. And if you're thinking twice, two, three times when we go to election, we see so many huge list of the persons who gonna run, and we see questions and we delegate our rights to that person. We cannot
Hmm.
just only put, the mark across the Democrats or across the Republican list. We have to think of each person who you voted for. This is the
Yes.
answer.
Yes.
Uh, I
Including,
will,
let me add something which is like very out of the picture, and that's judges.
oh yeah,
Because when there's a prosecution happening or when there's a case deal, if you choose a judge who's very left like, what's going to end up happening is there are going to be these issues that we see, right? Like we'll see people who, oh, yeah, it's okay. Like right now, like I told you last week, I think I'm not sure if I did, but Broward now has done a bail reform,
hmm,
right? Which is like it sounds like from the news they were saying, oh, it's coming to Miami-Dade soon, right? So I would hate to see that day because that would be just a disaster. I hope that the commissioners in Miami-Dade County are listening, maybe, but like please don't do away with bail reform. Like people are already having it too easy, and like now it's like you hear criminals saying, well, you know what? They go in, they have 3 meals, they have a roof over their head, they have their own toilet. Great. I mean, and who's paying for it, right? Like you're paying for it. I'm paying for it. So, I mean,
that's
like
all
these
our
things. So
money. Yeah.
yeah. So vet the judges. Take a look. Take a look at the judges. Like search on their history and like look at their voting record. Like not their voting record, but their sentencing and their verdicts. Like what did they do? Like could those cases have been like Could it have a better turnout? Could it, are they letting criminals go? You see this all the time, right? Right now they're recalling back in San Francisco or Sacramento, in California, actually all the prosecutors, the state attorneys are
Even
being
Kamala
recalled.
Harris. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the good example, see the verdicts and see what she did before.
Yeah. So when you look at that, like, don't just focus on like president, governor, we already know that. Like, I think we already know we want DeSantis as our next, for the second term. Now we have a bunch of new, a lot of new candidates, a lot of new candidates for state, a lot of new candidates for Congress, like vet them. I mean, unfortunately, if they're the only Republican, they're still a better choice than a Democrat. I hate to admit that, right? And there are cases where the Republican candidate is completely terrible. So with that said, like, I think we really get to screen them and see that, because like, I think sometimes we rely a lot on personality and how much we like them. When you see someone and you think, oh, I like this person, they're very charming, they're very nice, they're very friendly, and so on and so forth. And did you look at how they, how they voted? Let's say they're a state representative, how they voted in the House. Like, what are their past records? Do they have crime? Have they been convicted of stuff in the past? Like, these things are all little details that like actually indicate a future that you can actually predict. So there's so many of these people in the field of running for office, and like, really, it just really depends on you. I mean, me as a candidate, it's not nice to trash on people, so I definitely don't want to, except for the elected officials already. I get to trash on them, and I get to trash on Democrats. So that's just a little privilege I have as a Republican candidate. So all the ones that have been elected and are not doing a good job, I get to talk trash about them.
So I want to talk about, we just spoke about a little bit before, but the Ella Eliachi's answer, we're just talking about, this is our delegation to politicians, but this is not, depends of the politicians. But she's asking, some Republicans are very passive, probably mentioned this way. I don't know what they're waiting for. We see how acting Dems, but not Republicans. Tell me this thing. We are all voters, and so some of them going to vote for the Republicans, some of them go vote for Democrats, but radical left, of course, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the difference between us. So some who go vote for the Democrats, they're more active, they more delegate their rights to the right persons. Or how it works? Why it's so huge difference between two parties, between Democrats and Republicans? Why do you think it's huge difference?
When today I was talking to somebody about hate crime. And I was going to say that, like, the real hate crime is not like hate crimes against any colored skin. It's actually hate crime towards Republicans. There's a serious hate crime there. If you're a Democrat, you're protected, right? You can create massive corruption while you're in office. You can do all kinds of things and break any kind of law, and you'll be protected. Like, it's insane. And if you're a Republican, and this is probably why Republicans are so passive, because they can easily just get trashed, right? Look at Justice Kavanaugh, who...
Oh, this is a good example that
right?
It was, his face to the death, because even Joe Biden, he's just telling to the people, the Americans, go and protest, and that's very normal. Go and just do
no, but
some
an assassination
protest.
attempt,
Which is unlawful. That's absolutely unlawful. And this man who came to try to kill him, he's actually came from California with the gun. I just remind how hard to get gun in California. Legal gun, not illegal, but it is.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is just an example, right? Like, if somebody tried to assassinate Nancy Pelosi, we would hear about it till today. I mean, like, this is like a justice being actually, there's an attempted assassination on a justice and there's nothing going on. Or even, I mean, as simple as a leak. If a Democrat issue that they care about so much got leaked, right? You know how the abortion papers from our justice got leaked. If that would turn the other way around, like, oh my gosh, the person who got leaked will be hung and stoned to death. And I don't see anything happening right now. That is a big, huge, like, I don't even know how to explain it, but what I'm
Even
saying
that
is, like,
situation with leaked documents from the Supreme Court is
it is serious. It's
yeah.
so serious. Like, it's not even funny, right? Like, I mean, there could be things that are influencing that vote.
Nobody get punished for that, by the way.
Nobody. That's exactly my point. My point is saying that, like, the reason why Republicans are so scared, and let me tell you something, like, I mean, I have a neutral feeling towards President Trump right now, right? Meaning, like, I think he did a great job while he's in office. There are things that he did that I didn't like. I mean, like, of course, the tweets and a lot of things that he said actually hurt himself, diminished everything that he had done for the country. Like, he actually cannibalized himself in a way. So basically what I'm saying is that, like, one thing that I think the best thing he did for conservatives was he gave us a voice.
Mm-hmm.
All the Republicans before that were all hiding behind something. We didn't want people to know. When people ask us, who did you vote for? We'd be like, I'd tell you, but I'd have to kill you. Like, it's, and what Trump
And you cannot
did was,
feel protected, the first of all,
no, you
even you're a
can't.
politician.
But he really empowered the conservative voice to really speak up. Like, we are now speaking up about being pro-life. We're speaking about the Second Amendment, and all of this was inside of his contribution for being who he is. And I don't know if he was being some other way, right? Like, not all the tweets and not all the speaking, whether it would have emboldened us. But however that package came from Donald Trump and landed on conservatives, I think that was the best thing. It really gave us that voice.
Do you really think in a state level, in a local level, let's say the local level, state level, that politicians can be like a Donald Trump? Is it real possible? I mean, what's going on with those people who's gonna be, like a similar to him? Because you mentioned
it's not easy to find. It's not easy to find another Donald Trump.
I know, but I mentioned
Right?
the similar type of the politicians, the people who's honest, who don't afraid of the change the situation. He's ready to go till the end until the situation is turned on the way which we Republican all want, and you know what I'm talking about.
There are a lot of politicians that are really, really good. I mean, okay, wait. There are a lot of people, okay, who are ready to run. I know several candidates that are running in the same race as me that I think are just fantastic. It would be so great to have them. Now, the thing is, like, a lot of people who are behind that, behind, like, who haven't filed, who haven't decided, or don't want to get into the political scene, it's all because of, like, the things that are involved in it. Like, I myself have experienced, like, the swampiness, like, after talking about it, I need a shower. That's how disgusting it is. It really is just, like, full of that. And people who are successful, who have intelligence and skill and common sense and are conservative, have strong conservative values, they don't want to get involved because it's really, first of all, it's an exhausting process, right? Like, work-wise, demand-wise, like, it's really demanding. Like, I am a person who I can go along with very little sleep, but, like, I mean, I still, like, wow, I have to take a little nap here and there because it is very demanding in terms of work. But more importantly, it's a demand on your reputation. It could potentially hurt you if you have a good reputation. So that's why only the certain types of people get involved in politics. So, I mean, like I said, your vote counts. If you can vote all the swamp creatures out and you vote new creatures in, right? We definitely have a chance to conserve our Constitution, to actually live freely with rights that we have been, given by God. So yeah, that's my little spiel. Okay, go on.
So, Lynn, tell me, we started with the inflation. Inflation very high.
Wait, there was a question, and I didn't see that question, and you popped it up.
You mean this one?
Something about New
Yash?
York.
Oh, yeah, she's asking what do you think about so-called Pride Month in New York? It's crazy. Okay, what do you think?
Well, first of all, I have to say hi to Ella and also hi to Malka. I don't know if they're still on. I mean, if she's still on, but so hello to both of you. So what aspect about the Pride in New York did she mean, though?
I don't know, Ella. You have to, yes, tell us
But
more
let me
specifics,
just
because there is so many Pride months right now. In April, in the Pride months of the Russian society in New York. New York has a personal constitution we talk about, but she answering you, hi dear. First of all,
yeah. Oh, sweet.
So
Okay.
you are like a Russians for the Russians community. The people sometimes asking why we talking in English, not Russian. I said just wait a few weeks, and we
Let me
turn
go
on in
learn
the Russian.
first.
It's so easy. It's so easy.
It's so easy.
It's like yes, and
Well,
and New
I
York
want to
has
address the Pride Parade first, right? First of all, I mean, like, for example, in my district, we have a big concentration of the Pride group in Miami Beach. So my stand is this: you get to be you as much as you want, right? Without the government saying you can't be that you.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're not hurting anybody, like, go ahead and be you, right? Because that's our right as an American. Like, I can be as Thai and as American as I want to be, right? Nick could be as Russian as he wants to be. We can prefer to eat our own food and talk in our own language and do whatever we want, but that's my right. That's something that I really want to accentuate. Like, I'm not here to stop people from being whatever they are, right? And except for 5-year-old kids who say that I'm a boy, but I'm not a boy. Like, that's not yet. Like, let's wait.
And except for the criminals as well, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, of course, there are all these exceptions, but if you are a law-abiding citizen and you want to believe in something, I think you should go for it.
Oh, she's mentioned about involving little kids.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Now it's clear. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now it's very clear.
Yeah, it's yeah. So as I said, devil hiding in details.
Exactly. So, actually, it's ironic that I just said, except for 5-year-old kids who are boys that say that they're girls. I think that we're not allowing kids to really do the thinking, but in a way, we're letting them convince themselves of something without having them actually really do the critical thinking of themselves. So that's really important. The problem is, we're so there was I think there was something in the law that says that parents and teachers and everybody just have to affirm or accept when they're.
And also, the Ron DeSantis signed the law maybe a couple of weeks ago about the child. Remember, we spoke with you about this maybe a couple months ago. Something he's signed already, yes, and he's shared his position about the child. First of all, yes, the Florida Protect Child, the name of the law. I forgot something like that, but it exists in Florida.
Yeah, well, I mean, of course, there's the Don't Say Gay bill, right, that we know of.
Yes.
Yeah. But basically, I think if their parents choose to do that, so. There's something missing inside of this whole equation. Like, if you have a child who wants to identify him or herself as something else, shouldn't we give them a little time to learn about that, right? I mean, I give an example of, and this is a little bit off track and kind of a off the bat here, but when I'm thinking about like, hey, I want to, I want to, I want to major in something when I was in college. I mean, even choosing something like that, what I want to do for the rest of my life as a teenager, there's so many sways, right? I had my parents' influence for me to be a doctor, right? And at the same time, I think going into film and television was really uber cool because, like, at the time, right?
Yes.
Back in the 90s, it was like a big thing to like be in film and television. And I lived in a city where there were TV studios everywhere. I could have gotten a job. I mean, like, that's what I'm looking at. My parents are like, you kidding? You're going to go into entertainment? Like, you know what I mean? There's so many influences around that, like, I never got to choose what I wanted to be until I decided to, like, let me see if I could get into politics. And then I realized, oh my God, there's my passion, right? My passion is to serve people in this capacity. But like, I didn't discover that till I was like in my 40s. So where is this coming from
Don't
about
tell
like
your
choosing?
40s.
Oh,
Don't
I'm sorry.
tell. Yeah.
I mean, when I
Guys, has a
discovered when I
mistake.
was
Yes, on your
28.
90s, on your 19s, 19s.
I discovered that when I was in my
Because
20s.
because I just a week older than you. You're 19s. Last week, my
Yeah,
was
yeah.
last week. We're just 1 week difference between. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, got it. Okay. So, I mean, like, I'm
But
giving
you
you a
agree this
very.
question. You agree this
Mhm.
question is more difficult than the politicians, right? Because there is no straight answer for this. I mean,
No.
straight
Yeah.
answer, because it's very difficult. It's very deep inside of the person, and we have to think first of all about our rights. We cannot afford government go deep inside to our soul and change it. We cannot afford the government do this very important choice because we delegated our rights a lot and before that.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, but it's time. It's also time to take it back. But at the same time, like, I think, I mean, you can see when a parent beats up their child. That's child abuse. You can see when they leave them hungry and starve them at home and ignore them and neglect them. You can see these things. But when a parent actually goes in to condition them to be something that they're not, maybe because, like, let's just say my dad wanted a son, he ended up with me, right? He wasn't successful until he had the second one. So so basically, like, the first time he wanted a son and he wanted to have like a whole basketball team, so that would be like 15 people. So but my point is that, like, when he wanted me to do that, he did dress me up like a boy, he did make me play basketball, and I sucked at it, right? So it wasn't even funny. But so that he has the right to do that, but he never told me that I was a boy. But I do feel like, hey, I mean, sometimes when I'm playing basketball, I'm thinking like, but it's gonna break my nails,
My
because
nails.
I'm a girl. Because I'm a girl. But anyway, that what I'm saying to that is, I'm saying that, like, there's a borderline abuse that hasn't been identified yet. And like, if you're trying to, push and convince your child to be a certain way, like, that is a little bit of a child abuse. So there's a fine line between parents wanting something for their children, and then there's child abuse. And there's also a perception of child abuse that parents think is well deserved,
Hmm.
right? So let's say they beat up their child because their child was being stubborn about something. It's in their right to do that. But at the same time, like, when is that level of abuse, like, happening? Same thing with this sexual orientation thing, or sex, or what is gender identity. I'm sorry,
Hmm.
using the proper terms so that I don't get canceled. But
You're like
you know
a real politician. Sexual
like,
orientation. Oh, no, gender
no, gender
identity.
identity.
No, guys.
Seriously, I mean, like, whatever,
See,
whatever
they're
you want to call it.
already in our minds because we always
Oh
keep
no,
thinking
I
about,
listened to
am I
this stuff
right to
all day
tell
long.
something or not? Yeah.
It's crazy, yeah. And it's like, if you don't call it right, I'm supposed to be
But
cisgender, Well,
Russians, no, for example, man, Victor Lidyakin, he asked you, I mean, he's just making the comment. Lynn has a so nice laughing, and it's like a Oprah laughing, So he doesn't think about politicians and how it looks like. Is that harassment, or how is that identified to you?
Yeah.
Thanks God we're on a web space,
Yeah.
But so easy,
No, yeah,
guys.
it's
So
definitely
easy to
safe
get
here.
this. Mhm. So,
Uh-huh.
Lynn, tell us what you're planning to do next. Announce your politician events in the future. So, what's next? What you're gonna do? When we can meet you in the very first future? How to find you? How to help? What's the campaign events coming up?
Oh my gosh. You put me on the spot. I'm so happy to hear that. Now, listen, I I would love to, have any if we can get enough volunteers. I mean, you guys can sign up with Nick, right? So that
Mhm.
we know that, it's people are coming from the show. I also want that to if you want to volunteer, do sign up with Nick and let's definitely get together. I don't want you to volunteer for someone you don't believe in, like because I don't pay, right? And I don't mean to say that in a bad way, but I mean it like I really have a passion for this, and I need your passion to support mine. And we will feed off each other, but I want you to know who I am and what I stand for and what I really want for our state, for our district. That's really important to me. Uh, After we get to know each other and you do decide to come on board, like definitely we will, be our next goal is August 23rd, be the nominee and then run against the Democrats and let's flip this seat red because that's what we get to do.
And you can also, guys, find so many useful information about how the politicians works, how the elections coming up. You can have access to the special applications who can find what's the population in the area is. You can get experience to how to have a conversation with the people who live some. You can see how Lynn can create her election events, go to the community to see what the community wears. Make your networks and connection. This is so important here in the United States, but everywhere. If you make the right
Absolutely, yeah.
connections, right networks, you can be in the future. You can create your personal career, for example, or just meet the new and great people around. This is so
Hmm.
good. This is so good. And also, I heard the barbecue is amazing sometimes.
No, I
Yeah.
mean, I would love to host another one. I mean, this time maybe we could host it in my building. We have a barbecue area, so that we don't have to have any expenses. But yeah, definitely come by and we could let's plan something. If you're interested, like reach out to Nick, and then we'll get together. Nick and we talk on a
I
weekly
think
basis.
we should do something together, collaborating and do some together and create a live broadcast from the place. We can create our next meeting some days and invite
Wow, that sounds
our
great.
yes
Yeah.
audience
Mhm.
because it's where I think the LLH coming up. Yes.
Uh-huh.
And so many guys who actually no, normally coming up for our broadcast when we meet somewhere in the in
Uh-huh.
the in the area. It's
Wait, you guys,
company.
I think is there a Sunny Isles Commission meeting today? I thought I had in my calendar that I'm going to go to today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
What time? Where?
there's a commission meeting today at City Hall at 6:30.
6:30.
Yeah, I
Cool.
want to go find out what's going on in your city in Sunny Isles to see what's what I can do to support that or to and once I get to Tallahassee. So if you guys are going to be there, I will see you there, right?
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, guys, we can meet and talk personally with Lynn. So, and we can continue have by Thursdays our broadcast. You can ask the questions. You can even join us. Don't be shy, guys. Don't be shy.
Hmm.
So in the future, we just have agreements to go and create the together politician TV event. So you're welcome to join and we can do the broadcast, we can meet, we can chat, and spend time with so much pleasure together, because we are thinking in one way, we just want to our United States, to America, only great things, and we all Republicans, and we going together. This is the main thing. When we together, we are a real power, guys. This
Yes.
is, I think,
Yes,
this is the good
absolutely.
thing.
Very true. And I mean, just to add a little bit to that, like I know most of us are immigrants. I mean, even though I was born here, my parents are immigrants. But I'm sure you share the same sentiment. This is our country now, right? And
Yes.
we get to protect it. And I don't see any other country that is going to give you or give me or any of us as much freedom as America can inside of the Constitution that was created like 245 years ago. So with that said,
if we can rephrase, we can say we are Americans first.
Oh, yes. Oh, I love that. That is so good. Yes, it's true. It's true. It's not just America. We are Americans first.
Yes, it just comes to my mind from the
so
sky.
Oh my gosh, you got to patent that now. So,
that's okay. It's yours. You can use it.
The guy who created the sticker for Joe Biden, who said, "I did that." He's making tons of money now. I love that sticker. It was so good. I did that.
Yes. And so many people, our viewers, they immediately started ask when we put the screen on our community. They said, "How can I buy it? Where?" Oh, that's so amazing! That's so amazing! I want to put the sticker on my car. Yeah, the people, just immediately turn on.
Yeah. We are. We are America first. Americans first.
Americans first. Yes.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, good. Thank you, Lynn. I'm gonna miss you till the next week, but next week is coming up soon. I just wish you the great weekend, because today is Micro Friday. It's a Friday Eve. It's Friday Eve today.
Eve.
Yes, Micro Friday. We call it Micro Friday. Just remember it.
Okay.
And the weekend coming up. Yes, I wish you have a great weekend, full of energy, positive energies. Meet with friends, with the member of family, and everything is good and good for you for this weekend. Not only weekend. Thank you. Thank you to join us.
Thank you for having me, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Don't forget to visit the website. Which site are we on?
Yes, website. Yes, it's here, and also in the bottom of our screen, you can see the first of all email of the Lynn. You can send the email to her directly, and I know for sure she is reading all emails. Check out her emails, so you can write her with any suggestions, any questions. I think any questions if you got, but you shy to ask her. Just please send an email and ask about the campaign, about how to help, how to register to the vote, and any other questions. Also, you can find so many answers for the questions if you go directly to her website. It's so easy as well. It's so easy to remind, because it's her name and her last name and .com. That's it.
Yes.
So easy to see, so easy to understand. Yes, Lynn Sue for Florida State Representative, guys. I wish someday we just have another broadcast with you when you already won.
Of course. I do plan to have like monthly meetings with constituents in different parts of the district, because it is a very long district.
Yeah.
But coming to a city near you. So I
and conference call, when someone can join to the conference call over the phone, for example, and ask you direct questions. I know Marjorie Taylor Greene do this. So everybody can call for the certain time
Mhm.
a certain period of time, 2 hours, for example.
Yeah.
She's telling something, a major topic, and then she's answering the questions directly. You can ask questions and get the answer.
Yeah, I think it's like
So
very efficient
transparent.
that way. So everybody is, on top of what's going on, what legislation is being passed, what is it that we're talking about right now, stuff like that. So, I mean, I plan to do like during session, the state has session from, January to March.
Mhm.
I definitely plan to have like Zoom calls every weekend so that you know what I'm working on. I mean, we can put it like maybe not too long because it is,
Of course, yes.
there's crunch time. But I mean, all the major policies and things like that, I'd love to hear what you guys think because, like, you're electing me to represent you,
This is the main
right?
thing.
Yeah, this is
Thank
the
you
most.
so much for running for us, and we delegated to you your rights for sure, because we believe you, and you are the very good person. I really honestly wish you good luck with everything. Thank you,
Thank you.
Lynn. See
Thank
you
you.
next Thursday.
Yes. See you next Thursday. Bye, everyone. Thank
Bye
you so
bye,
much for tuning
guys.
in.
Thank you for being with
Okay.
us. We are so
Bye.
happy to share our things and thoughts to you, and everything. And everything is going to be great as soon we are together, guys. Together, we are Americans. That's
Americans. Sorry.
yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Make
Have a great one.
Americans great again.
All right. Have a great weekend.
Have a great weekend, guys.
Bye.
Bye bye.